We'll take a look at a route briefing, in this particular case from Duat.com. And it's easy enough selecting the type of the briefing. We have standard, abbreviated, and Outlook available to us. Naturally, standard briefing would be something within 6 hours, Outlook with more than 6 hours of lead time. And then abbreviated briefing would be something possibly you've already gotten a standard briefing, just want certain weather products at that point. So that's pretty much the same as your telephone briefing, your 1-800 weather brief, and the rest of it really follows the same sequence there as well. So you're just getting it on the internet, getting a whole lot more information than you would be on the telephone there. We've already added your departure and your destination, and going towards the coast, and we want to add an alternate Lancaster Fox field here, so you get a little bit of an idea of what the desert might be like in case the coast unexpectedly becomes obscured with clouds. We might be able to go to the desert. Well, the departure time here, we're in Zulu time, so we have a Zulu offset, and standard time 10 in the morning would be 1800 Zulu, so we'll put that in. Typically the type of briefing we'd be getting maybe around 8 in the morning before we head out to the airport. Estimated time en route in hours and minutes. The altitude in hundreds of feet. We're heading westbound, so we'll just take 4,500. Naturally, when coming back, we'll be 5,500. So we can just go ahead and put that in. It'll be a 2-hour training flight, so we'll be at all kinds of altitudes, but our highest altitude will be 5,500 feet for us. The briefing output can be modified to be in plain English, or you can just have it in both the FAA or abbreviated way and in plain English. So that's kind of neat as well. A lot of different options here. Of course, once you click on standard briefing, it'll select the most common options for you, and we'll just proceed from there. So let's take a look what we're getting back here from the system, from the Duat.com system. It really does confirm the transaction with the Zulu time, date Zulu time that we actually received this briefing. You can archive this if you like. Then standard route briefing confirms also what we had input into the system. It starts with adverse conditions. If things are bad enough out there, I suppose we don't need to read any further. Would show up right here, synopsis VFR clouds weather, type of thing that you might get on your local news, weather news as well. Kind of goes on and goes into severe weather outlook, and this is where things get sometimes a little weird, because it starts telling you about bad weather in Miami and Key West, and so really interesting, even though we haven't asked anything anywhere close to that, but here it is. Next come severe warnings, SIGMETs, tropical depression, hurricane advisories, and convective SIGMETs. Nothing here that's expected for our area, and then we'll get into the AIRMETs, which is very typically your IFR conditions, your turbulence, things of that nature will be written up there. Next are current conditions, which are your surface weather observations, which we have all listed in pretty much in the sequence that we're flying. In other words, the departure will be in the beginning here, and then your destination alternate be at the end of the entire listing. Pilot weather reports, as there are some available here. We have one that tells us that there's some more moderate turbulence out there, as there are available that show up right there. Forecast conditions, terminal forecast, if we are near or departing from or arriving at a terminal, it's be really helpful, the type of weather that we're expecting right there. Next, winds aloft forecast is given for defined altitudes, 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, those kind of steps. And if I'm anywhere in between there, it interpolates it for us, and then you'll have it right here and listed as well, so you don't have to do the math yourself. Temporary flight restrictions are listed next, and some of them even listed for something that might occur in the future, so maybe a few days away, so it's really helpful to have as well. Notice the airman NOTAMs come, and they are sorted really quite nicely nowadays, so you do get them in departure and route or en route NOTAMs, and then of course then also destination NOTAMs. In our case, we had specified an alternate, so we'll get some alternate NOTAMs as well, just in case we decide to go to a different destination, and here we are. We have some information about that as well. Air traffic controls, where airspace NOTAMs, nowadays these seem to be filled with unmanned aircraft notices, and So you can read through all of that, and general warnings there. Flight data and NOTAMs, generally more IFR related items that show up here, even though we've asked it for a VFR briefing. The system really lists all that as well. So that's pretty much a very quick and dirty overview. There's of course a lot more to learn, a lot more to see in another video.